All right, hello everybody. Welcome to our June Pro Workshop. Excited that you guys are taking some time out of your Monday to start out the week with us. We've got some really exciting stuff to share with you guys today. Without further ado, let's get started. So first, new product announcement from Light Efficient Design coming from our Light Efficient Design brand. We've got a new total tube available now. This is a type AB, so it works on a ballast, or you can bypass the ballast and work on 120 through 277, including 208 and 240, but a type AB flex color T8. So flex color with 5 color temperatures. So going all the way from 3000 all the way up to 6500 Kelvin with 35, 4K, and 5K included in that. So really everything you could ever really want in a tube and a T8, we've got all in one SKU. So really excited about this. Yeah, we've got a 2-footer, a 3-footer, and a 4-footer. These do work with our emergency battery backup. So we've got a 5 watt and a 10 watt solution. Generally that 5 watt should do enough of a trick for your T8s, but we do have that 10 watter if that's what's desired. So really excited to have this product. You know, more and more states are continuing to put policies, laws into place of discontinuing or banning fluorescent. So we want to make sure that we're well positioned with our T8 products. So really excited here just to show you a couple more product attributes: 5-year warranty, 80 CRI, operating temperatures very similar to our other products, but is DLC listed and is NSF rated as well. So excited to be able to offer those options for you, but just a really great maintenance solution. Buy a box or boxes of tubes, and you don't have to think about do I replace the ballast? Do I not? What color temperature do I need in this hallway versus this classroom? Everything again you could want in one T8, kitchen sink of tubes, if you will. So really excited about that product, and like I said, those are in stock today. Company announcement. Really excited about this for our reps on the call. You should have gotten a letter from me a couple weeks ago now, but we are entering the level 3 DC fast charging space. We have a strategic partnership with Autel. I'm really excited about that. Autel has been in the automotive space for over 2 decades, making a lot of different types of technology, a lot of diagnostic tools for the automotive space. But they have also poured a lot of money and time into R&D for level 3 chargers. So what I have on the screen here is kind of your middle range level 3, which is a 60 all the way up to a 240 kilowatt DC fast charger dual. We also are going to offer a kind of more entry level level 3 that's a 40 kilowatt, really going to be popular for car dealerships. And then we're going to go all the way up to a 480 and a 640 kilowatt level 3 charger. So right now we're building up all of our marketing collateral to really officially launch this in July. So be on the lookout for more information from us regarding level 3 in July. If you do have immediate opportunities right now, we do have the ability to quote you on our offering. So just send in your request through your respective rep agency, or if you're a rep, send it in through your regional sales manager, and we'll turn that quote around for you pretty quickly. So stay tuned for more Breeze EV powered by Autel level 3. Now for the main event. So today we're going to focus on the REMFOS product family and specifically LBI. But before we get into our new product introduction, I want to talk about the products that kind of have led us here today. So the first being the LBIs, which has actually been in our offering since 2019. And it's crazy how time flies, but it's really become a staple of the REMFOS brand, and that is actually our most popular product in the REMFOS family. So kind of have some different application photos where LBI works, doing those continuous runs. Cove lighting, I believe it's the #1 cove lighting solution in the world. Continuous run, these are actually connected to a T-grid system, so literally affixed to that T-grid, even doing some under cabinet lighting. So great product. Continue to try to make this more popular than it is today or was last year, and we're doing a great job with that. Thanks to all of you on the call Very installer friendly is probably one of the biggest value props of LBI, and really important that we get this product out in front of installers. But I'm going to play a little game here. Did you know? So did you know that we can do LBI in amber? So we actually have started to stock this. I believe it's going to be available later this month in a stock position. But amber LBI, we have found out, is a great solution at semiconductor facilities. So they aren't necessarily needed in the entire space of that plant, but there's certain areas where that amber color is really needed for those semiconductor chips. The other one is 90 CRI. We have the ability to do a 90 CRI LBI. This is currently a special order item. We are bringing in some inventory for samples, mock-ups, if you will. But places like a museum or an art gallery would be a great place where you'd want something with that high of a color rendering index. The last one is junction box. What's he mean by junction box? This little contraption kind of reminds me of something from the game Mousetrap when I was a kid. But anyways, really cool junction box where, again, you're going to attach it to the LBI just with the seamless connector. There's no tools that are required for that, but it's a great solution if you're going to use the LBI as a standalone fixture. So that little junction box, like I said, plugs in and you can bring your wiring into that junction box instead of that incoming power cord. Next up, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, we launched LBI Max. So again, similar applications where you can connect fixtures up to 40, just like the LBI, connect up to 40 of these fixtures from one power feed up on 277 volt, but anywhere you're going to do continuous runs. We got grocery stores again. So this grocery store had higher ceilings, so they need a little bit more light output. And that's what Max is, more light output. Just over 6,000 lumens for a 4-footer or just over 1,500 lumens per foot on this. Looks like a strip fixture, but works just like the LBI in that you can connect them nice and easy. But again, did you know that we can ship this with built-in EM? So it's hidden inside the fixture. There's no external emergency battery backup. There's no additional connections to the fixture that are required, but built-in battery backup. Which actually makes it a great stairwell solution, bottom right there. A lot of times you need that emergency battery backup for those critical lighting applications like a stairwell. Did you know we can also do a sensor? So that's also why it's a great stairwell solution. We do that microwave motion sensor built in behind the lens, out of sight, out of mind, but does its job. So we have that. You can also combine those two, emergency and an occupancy sensor. And the last thing is networked lighting controls. So the sensor I just referred to is what we would call more of our simple sensor. But earlier this year, we've been doing more marketing around our network lighting controls. We've partnered with Silvair for Bluetooth, but really we still remain control agnostic, but we do want to, help you guys and recommend somebody that we think does a really great job and works well with our fixtures. So if you have a project that requires network lighting controls, reach out to your sales manager and we can help you guys design something along with offer any support that's needed. So LBI Max, two phenomenal products, but there's two things that both products do not have. One is an IP rating and the other is an NSF rating. So with that, I'm going to bring in Nick to tell you guys what the heck I'm talking about. So Nick, take it away.
Awesome. Hey everybody, and so excited to be here to finally talk to you about this. So we've been talking about LBI for a long time and where they're actually rated to go. And one of the applications that we've really not been able to address is areas that have moisture. The ratings that you have in front of you are two ways to kind of express that. So we've got IP65 and we've also got NSF. So IP65, mainly what that rating is basically just a moisture rating. You're looking at the actual, like how ingress protected it is. That's what IP stands for. So you're trying to keep either solids or water or moisture out of the actual fixture itself. When it comes to solids, where do you think the LBI and LBI Max would stand? Well, it really just depends on how much access they have to the housing and what you can jam in there. So our product itself has a really easy linking connector and in the LBI and LBI Max. And so that being exposed, outside, it does qualify for a little bit lower rating than what we would want for a moisture rich environment, right? So the LBI Max and the LBI actually qualify for an IP30 because they have the little small holes in them for the power cords actually connect and connect together. So When you're looking at where this applies, the moisture level on that is 0. So what does that mean? 1 through 8, basically, moisture levels. You're looking at different levels of water and how it could get in. 1 and 2, periodically getting water here and there. As you can see, it's a 0. So they can't get any moisture or water in them. If those of you that are pros are noticing that our ETL listing is for damp locations, but that's indoor damp locations. They're really designed to be in a space that has some ambient moisture, possibly some slight accumulation, but there's pretty much a reliable evaporation happening. So you're basically getting no moisture rating, but a small dust rating. So that's why they're great for a lot of environments, but not every environment. So we have a brand new product now called the LBI65. The 65 rating stands for the highest dust protection that you can get, and then kind of a middle range for the water protection. So this is really designed for low pressure water hoses. That's kind of the 65 rating. But if you guys are familiar with this, it's really kind of an outdoor rating as well, because in a lot of situations in outdoor environments, a low pressure water hose is used to clean things, but then the ambient moisture and the rain never even gets that level of pressure. So this rating is really designed for an outdoor environment, something that is really going to get some moisture around it, but not going to be sprayed with anything high pressure. As you go up the list in the numbers, you go to 6. That's a high pressure, like 1500 PSI. It's very, very, very high pressure hose. And then as you go to 7, it's actually submersible and submersible deeper, and it goes thicker than that. So we really tried to put this into the area where we think will be most effective for you guys to sell. And in that case, it's a waterproof environment that has an IP65 rating. And you'll find this rating is really common on high bays, canopy fixtures, linear, vapor tights, things like that. So it's going to fit really well in that environment that you would see those same sort of applications. So what does NSF stand for? That's the other rating that we're applying for on this product. And it's basically a testing standard that a National Sanitation Foundation puts out. And this is a nonprofit that actually tests food, water, and consumable standards for products. So we have actually gone to get the approval from NSF to list this as a NSF certified product. There's a couple different applications that we're going to be certifying it for. But the main thing is that this is going to be a food safe product that is actually designed to be sprayed down and cleaned and have a very slight interaction with food. So you are going to have a lot more applications soon. And so once we have the spec sheet published and everything, you'll see some of those listings and the specific environments it's for. But in this situation, it's really designed for food processing, water treatment, and agriculture, areas that have a lot of chemicals, a lot of stuff in the air and moisture and dust, but then also need to have it cleaned after the fact. So what are those NSF environments? Where are those things going, right? Food application, food processing. You can see some pictures here on the screen. We've got some large environments with long linear runs of strip fixtures. Most of those are probably have an IP rating of some kind, and then they have to be cleaned on a regular basis. On the bottom picture on the left side there is a cooler, or a food processing area cooler. So this is another good application where the LBI65 would be great for, because it is rated for that environment and you're able to actually clean it very, very easily. So to continue down the food range, we do have these 3 ranges. This is kind of what we talked about before, is the non-food zone, splash zone, and food zone. We are actually going to be splash zone rated and food zone rated. So that's really exciting to be able to do that. But the splash zone is really the most important one that you want to focus on, because that really gets you into a lot of other environments, places that really need that rating. So where else is there? Where else do you need this application? Where else do they ask for this sort of listing? So because this has become common in food processing facilities, a lot of other places that have those similar conditions have been asking for it. So water processing facilities or water treatment facilities generally have to have a higher level of cleanliness than most, but they also have a lot of moisture, generally a lot of heat, steam, things like that. So you want to make sure that you use a fixture that's ready for the environment, and the LBI65 definitely is. livestock and like agriculture. This is a huge area where I think that we could really do well with this product because it's linkable. A lot of the times they don't want to run a ton of extra power out there, and they have these long linear runs that they want to do. They also, the LBI65, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but it has a lot of different options for color temperatures you can choose from. So, does milk get produced better at 5,000 K versus 2,700 K? And if you know the answer to that question, we can have a coffee someday, but we're not going to go into that today. But either way, the LBI65 is ready for these sort of applications. And, like we say, happy cows come from Wisconsin. Well, actually, happy cows are happy when they have good lighting. That's just the way it is, because the farmers have good lighting and they can be safe in what they're doing. So car washes is another great example. On the picture on the right here, you can see the linear bar fixtures up in the ceiling there actually have these little black connectors. Ours are not going to need something like that. They'll still have the connector between them, but they're designed specifically to link right next to each other and actually look very, very clean and not have to extra pigtails or other color differences. So, and our product, of course, can link end to end as well. So it's pretty close to seamless when it comes down the line there. So you'll have a much more clean look in the facility. And of course, with car washes, a lot of the times that lighting is not actually on the devices that are actually doing the spraying, or in the cars doing the spraying, so they don't have the direct interaction with the high pressure. But with splash zone rating in the NSF application, that is actually rated for a certain amount of pressure. It's not as high as the high pressure rating for IP66, but it's still pretty high up there. So you can place them in a lot of the side environments or everything. And there are some applications out there where they're using like RGB lighting on the bars and stuff like that, and obviously we're not doing that. So, but in this case, it's a great application to put them up on the ceiling or up on the walls in any of these car washing facilities. Lastly, just because we cover it, NSF has been asked for a lot in like parking garages and stuff, even though NSF really doesn't consider that application. But there is a lot of hose down and spraying that happens in these facilities. And so a lot of the times people just as a default kind of ask for this as a rating, even though they may not actually need it. So one thing to look out for in parking garages is areas that are close to the ocean. And if the parking garage is open, you might get some blow in from the ocean or from other from wind or rain that could cause eventually some corrosion and arcing in the fixture. Whereas this one, IP65, don't got to worry about that. You'll be good. So here's the product itself. And again, I'm so excited to finally show this to you guys. This is 24 SKUs in one. So we are actually able to, in this one bar, combine 6 color temperatures and 4 wattage selection switches, or buttons, I guess, in this situation. So this product, IP65, but the way that we control it is actually through the IR remote. You can see it down there at the bottom of the screen. And the reason for that is because it's sealed. We don't want any water ingress into it at all. So the only point in which they actually open are the end caps. So the product actually plugs into another item or linking cable. This remote, we've actually spent a bunch of time making sure that it's going to give you a ton of features. We'll talk about that in just a second. The product itself is made out of a polycarbonate housing, so it's really nice and strong. It's IK08 rated as of right now. We're trying to get a little bit higher rating, but as of right now, that's the highest we can do, which is pretty good. It's going to take a pretty big hit from an impact, so you can use it in an area, with possible vandalism or whatever. Obviously, it's designed for wet locations. We do inline mounting. One of the most unique parts about this product is the fact that you can link and connect them together without any wiring at all. The start point is where you do all your wiring. From then on, you don't need it. It is one of the only fixtures out there that has a waterproof connection that actually becomes the housing. Really, really cool stuff. One of the other really unique things about this, because we had to build into the remote some of the color tuning options and being able to, white tuning options and being able to set the color temperature, we actually built in native color tuning, or white tuning. So there is a 4th channel in there that has you normally have your 0 to 10 volt dimming, but then there's another line in there that's also for color tuning, or white tuning. So if you actually have a software like our Silvera system can do this, or if you have any other software out there that is able to do white tuning, you can actually plug right into this product and is natively ready for it. So we didn't want to really tax you a lot for it. We try to keep the price down in a good spot, but we also want to give you a really nice feature set that you're able to address a lot of the concerns that are out there in the world. So the fixture itself ships with some mounting brackets. We'll cover what else is in there too, and there's also some linking cables as well. So we're gonna go into those right away here. One last thing, and I guess we'll go into this in a second. cursor's not working. There we go. Thank you. So we have 3 different configurations just to start for the different bars. We've got a 2 foot, a 3 foot, and a 4 foot. One of the biggest things you're going to notice on this is that we've actually kind of, on the 4 foot, we've decided to go with a 25 watt as the max wattage setting to start. As opposed to shipping it as a default 15, we actually ship it with a 25. And this is some feedback we got from the LBI Max. A lot of people really like that shipping at the top wattage. It was just one less thing to adjust. Obviously, if you guys want us to adjust it before we ship it out to you, we can absolutely do that. As you can see, about 4,000 lumens at 25 watts. So there has been an improvement to the lumens per watt. We're looking actually at 160 lumens per watt right now with this product. So we bumped it up to almost 4,000 lumens for the one light bar. And there's really only about 1/8 of an inch difference in the size. So it's really great that we're able to do that. This product has a 7-year warranty on it. That's actually kind of high for exterior fixtures and stuff that's rated for outdoor environments. So that's really good to see. There's also options for occupancy sensors. We're starting out 2 PIR versions right now, but let's take a look at the size first really quick. So the product itself, full polycarbonate housing. You have end caps that actually link together. We've tried our best to make those end caps as transparent as possible so it looks a little bit seamless. And I'm going to link a couple together here in a minute so you guys can kind of see that. But the actual product dimensions is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches wide. So it's very small, very similar to a T8 size, sorry, T12 size, like the original LBI was. We tried to keep it really close to the same dimension that originally it was. And we keep the dimensions similar to the LBI too. So if you're used to how that dimensional stuff works, you're going to be good to go. Inside the box, we ship every LBI65 with a remote control, an Allen key to remove the end cap. You can see it close up there, kind of in the middle of the screen. And then it ships with 2 stainless steel self-tapping screws and an end cap attached and 2 white brackets. Those brackets can be used for surface mounting, suspension mounting, or possibly even threaded rod mounting in the center there. It's designed to fit a piece of threaded rod in there, so you can use that. We also will eventually come out with some other options for mounting here in the future, but we're kind of waiting to see what other applications come up and what might be needed. Here are the sensors and control options. As you know, and Doug talked about this earlier, we've got a ton of NLC options for all of our products. LBI and LBI Max both have our Silver NLC or network lighting control options available. So please take a look at those. We definitely have those available. We're expanding that as well for LBI65. We're going to start out with a PIR standard simple lighting control, and then we'll also come out with a network lighting control PIR as well for some of those applications. There is plans to put out a microwave one eventually, but we're going to start with these. And you'll notice on those actual sensors, the output range and the coverage range is almost exactly the same as our current LBI. So you're going to see a very similar performance result with these as you would with that. So linking cables, we're going to offer them starting 6-inch all the way up to 120-inch. If you've got a large project where you need a custom size, you let us know. We don't normally do that, but if we have a large enough amount, we'd be happy to talk to you about it or how we can make it work. The end caps themselves are tried to keep as small as possible so they don't take up as much space, but you know, with the waterproof linking, there's only so much you can do. So we have a cable that actually goes waterproof end cap to another end cap, and they're able to seal it up. So again, no wiring needed to connect this product fully, which is really great. Other accessories we're going to be offering, there's going to be a 3-foot incoming power whip. It's important to note that the product itself, just like our LBI and LBI Max, does not ship with an incoming power cable. You will have to order that if you want a whip coming into it, but there are a couple other options here we'll talk about. So we do also have a 3-foot incoming power cable, 120-volt molded end plug, just in case you're in a bathroom or something and you want to plug into a GFIC or something like that. A lot of this, honestly, we're going to stock a few of these just so that reps can have samples and be able to plug in wherever they go. But most people are going to use either the incoming power cable or what I'm about to talk about next, the junction box. Our seamless connectors are exactly the same from the LBI Max, and the LBI65. The seamless connector itself goes on the inside of the LBI65 housing and produces a waterproof seal around it, so you don't have to worry about changing that part. That part is consistent across the board. The last two here on the list are in and output junction boxes. So one of the things that we got a lot of feedback on this product initially was that we wanted to be able to run a liquid tight conduit into it so that you can run, so you can daisy chain and link while still using these more solid conduits for outdoor environments. A lot of code kind of areas with code require that you use a liquid tight or some type of a conduit going to the product on the outside of a building or something. So these are absolutely necessary when it comes to this product's offering. And it takes a 1/2 inch threaded liquid tight fitting or a 1/2 inch threaded conduit on the outside of it, and then all the wiring is done on the inside of the product. And as soon as you've done that, that's all your wiring. You can connect it right to the LBI65 and then link to your heart's content. So just take a little bit closer look at the remotes that we're going to be offering, because these are kind of essential to how the product works. We have 4 different power settings built onto the remote itself. You can set those power settings here, and this will all be explained in the spec sheet and the manual as well. But you can see you can change the different wattages there from the power settings on the remote at the bottom. And this functions a lot like our power setting switch. So this is kind of the top wattage, the highest it can possibly go. Obviously with 0 to 10 volt dimming or the lumen adjustment on the remote itself, you can adjust that. The color temperatures we're going to offer are 6. This is, I think, was one of our first products to actually offer 6. But either way, it's got 27, 3, 35, 4, 5, and 5700. So you can choose any of those color temperatures as default. So just pick it and it'll set it to that color. We ship it as default with a 4000K, but again, if you want us to change it for you, we'd be happy to do it. The remote has some other functions on there that are kind of important, so I want to just cover it really quick. We have an on and off button, a reset to factory default. The CCT fine output adjustment will increase and lower the CCT by about 100 CCT or 200 CCT or so, depending on how fast you push it. And so you can actually dial that CCT into the exact color that you want. The default CCTs obviously work if you want to stick to those ones, but the fine adjustment is a really fun thing to do because you can dial it in exactly where you want it. This dialing also can happen with the lumen output setting. You're able to actually dial in that lumen amount all the way down to about 5% of the dim range. Granted, if you're using 0 to 10 volt dimming, this part does not work because you're using the 0 to 10 volt dimming to do that exact same thing. But right out of the box, you're able to adjust this product down or up to the level exactly where you want it to be, and it will stay there and remember it. We already talked about the CCT presets and the power presets, but the last thing on here is the quick recall buttons. In case you do have a specific look that you want to stick to or whatever, you can trigger those 2 looks from those quick setup buttons. And this is more convenient for if you're trying to return to like a factory setting or something. You just hit the default reset, and then you can actually go in and adjust each of these and remember kind of where that one was in case you have to go back to it or whatever. So it's definitely nice to have that feature built in. So just to talk about a couple of the different applications where we see this product mostly, these are some parking garages that I've been in the last couple of months. You know, a lot of these situations, some of these products, they may have an LED lamp in it or something, but the lens is gone, and the customer might be complaining that the lamp's been failing like once every couple of months. So that's a great opportunity for this product to be installed. You could install it right into the housing because it is listed as a retrofit, but it's also listed as a full fixture. So if they want to rip down that and repaint a little bit, they can totally do that too. The one on the right is actually going to be a parking garage with a conduit end feed going into it. They actually, for this install, they had to put a junction box up on top of the product, this product, and then run another line down to it. So obviously, if we're LBI65, you could go right from that junction, right from the conduit end into our junction box, and then plug right into the fixture without any other wiring besides that. So it really saves a lot of time when it comes to hooking these fixtures up. Walkways, breezeways, and like hotels, apartments, things like that. You know, obviously up in Wisconsin, we don't really see this much. They're mostly closed off, but it still does happen. And then, you know, down in like the South, you get this a lot more. And even down there, you do get a lot of moisture. And a lot of the times they will use IP rated fixtures in those spaces just to kind of prevent issues from happening. And then the IK10 rating, that's all I got to say about that one. It's got a couple of broken lenses on it, and I feel like that would be a perfect application for our product. This one's going to be a really big one for us. There's a lot of good opportunities out there for cove lighting and accent lighting around gas stations or convenience stores. A lot of the times these are, you know, single lamp products that are, you know, linked with conduit all the way around the building. And so it's a great opportunity for us to, you know, for you to look at this and say, you know, hey, you could use this product and link it together. The blinking's already built in. So it's going to make things a lot easier for the installers themselves. One of the last applications here I want to just talk about is greenhouses. Obviously, we're not doing the actual growing with this product, but the big thing, a lot of greenhouses have like LED lighting in the space for the workers or people to actually go in there and work, or accent lighting to have them working in the evenings when the sun is, you know, not as strong. So this would be a great application for that. You could put one every, you know, 60 inches or 120 inches or whatever, and space them out for a long length to get, you know, a fairly ambient level of light that will be really effective. So got a couple other just really quick ones here. We have like a auto shop or whatever, where, you know, you may be doing car washing and cleaning. You want to definitely keep, you know, sealed, so you get, you know, have a waterproof fixture. It's really, really important. I've seen a ton of these out there where they have like a custard shop or whatever, and they have these orange tubes running around it. We will be offering this product with an orange LED array as well. It may not be in stock as quickly as the current one, but it will be soon. So that's something that you could also do in those environments. If you have a good project for it, let us know. We could maybe speed that up a little bit. But either way, they normally have fluorescent tubes wrapping the entire building. So it's a great opportunity to transition from whatever they have there and use our linking system to really get stuff connected well. So now we get to do the fun part. Let's actually play with this thing. So I got a couple right here. So we got the 2-footer and the 4-footer right here for you guys to see. So the actual linking itself is done on this end. We actually have 2 little teeth at the top there that hold the actual hold the actual parts together, the bars together, and then they'll link together with the seamless connector, if you can see that right there. And this is as fast as it is done. Done. So now I've just wired 0 to 10 volt, tunable white, and the power for this product. So it is that fast. There's 2 little buttons on here. You just squeeze them, it pulls right apart. We're able to actually do some wiring right here real quick. Don't mind me being an electrician for a quick second. All right, now I'm done being an electrician. So we're able to actually tune the CCT with our remote. So right now I've got this set to like a 3000K. I've got this one up here set to a much lower brightness. So we're gonna go in, I'm gonna tune this one to 2700K. You can kind of see it on the Remfoss logo over there. We can pick 3000 all the way up to 5700. So you can get a nice, cool, you can see now they're both matching. And we can actually dial up the brightness on the top one, or dial down the brightness to a point where we think is acceptable. So dial it down there. Go. So now it's nice and low. It's probably about 5% or so. And you just use these buttons to bring them up and down, and it will adjust it to whatever level you want. And again, changing the CCT is easy, just flipping the buttons, but you can actually tune it. You press and hold the buttons there. I don't know if you can see a little better on the Remfoss logo, but you can see how it's tuning through the different colors there. So, and again, it's white tuning, so you can select anywhere between 2700 and 5700K, and yeah, you have all your power settings built into it there and everything. That's pretty much it we have for this guy.